G'day everyone, I'm Ben from Cash Pro Australia.
And I'm BJ from TBL Property Maintenance, and this is Lawn Care Skull Sessions. Boom!
G'day mate, how you going?
Yeah, fucking alright, how you going?
Not too bad. The weather has cooled off in Brizzy. I got socks and long pants on right now.
Just take them off.
No, because my tootsies get cold.
Okay.
So I know we complained, for months and months and months of how hot it was, and it truly was very hot.
Yeah.
But I definitely turned into a big punce in the winter.
I'm not even kidding, it is so comfortable in here right now. Like 3 weeks ago, I think my ball bag was melting into my socks.
Yep.
But this week, it is very comfortable.
Oh man, it's all good right now.
I like it. I feel like I'm going to get some breathing room. Don't get me wrong, I love summer. I love getting in there and getting shit done. Everything's always ready to be mowed. But, yeah, it's going to be nice. Get everything, all my ducks in a row.
Yeah, look, I love the summertime as well. I'm a summer dude, but it's just, by February, I am over it.
Yeah.
And usually in the winter months, luckily they're short winters where we live.
Yeah. Really short.
But you know what I mean? Like, we only really get, May is going to be mild, June, July, August to me are cold. But literally as soon as you hit September, it's on again.
Yeah.
So you're really lucky.
Are you finding the all the hype about this? I guess you could call it a weather event. Another weather event is coming through. Maybe like one in 50 years.
Yeah, I heard like some fucking weird triple
El Nino
rain event.
Yeah. Call it triple Bukkake threat.
Yeah, I'm a little bit concerned. I just bought a house.
Yay.
That is actually below the flood line.
Oh.
It flooded really bad in February when we had the floods. Now, everywhere flooded really badly,
yeah.
right? You even had fucking floods at your house.
The water was... we're on a hill, and the water... There was so much water that it pushed in the brickwork, so there was no stopping that. It was a different kind... Like, everyone's like, we didn't flood in 2011, but we didn't get that much rain on site in 2011. That was up in Toowoomba and Grantham and things, and it came down through Brisbane. We got plenty of rain, don't get me wrong, but yeah, it was a different kind of flooding. So
No, look, a little bit concerned. We took on the property knowing the risk, thinking that it's a 1 in 10 year event, so thinking we've probably got a decade or at worst half a decade to sort of get prepared.
Yeah.
And it's funny, just like literally as soon as we went unconditional, my wife and I, we just started seeing like these crazy ass weather reports and like interest rises and all sorts of shit. Like, this is our first house that we've ever bought. Well, it's the first family home that we've ever bought. I've had a house or a part of an investment before, but which was much more low risk. But yeah, it's sort of none of that has really sunk in yet because we're just busy with work, mate.
Man, it's
busy with the podcast. So we came off a big week on the podcast with our mulch and catch episode.
That was a big one.
We're sort of coming off the back of the Lenny Lawler episode.
Yeah, Lenny came in. That was great.
What was the episode we did in between that? After the mulch and catch?
The mulch and catch, and then we did...
Oh, Village Life.
Yeah.
Geez, I get lost.
Oh, mate, me too. Work is really taking its toll. I've got staff issues.
Yeah, so
we'll leave it at that.
Still seeing plenty of staff issues. Just quickly, this is BJ's story. He probably wants to keep it private, but BJ's hired this kid, right? Now, I'm sure everywhere is having long weekends at the moment, but we've just coming off the back of another long weekend, which was Anzac Day. How's this? BJ's new worker doesn't come in on the Friday, has a fucking long weekend on the Tuesday. What's doing?
Oh, he's still unwell. But in the meantime, he's found plenty of time to post on Snapchat that he's down the fucking coast and Yeah, so
Not only should you fire him, but I reckon you should bash him.
he can't even go into the pub. I don't think I can bash him.
Fuck him. He's a big boy.
Maybe I will fuck him.
It's not like you're Ben from Catch Pro.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I've watched your videos. I've sized you up, and you'd be sleeping.
Nah, you'd be snoozing.
Oh, you'd be snoozing. Sorry. Yeah, fuck. No. It's been a dog of a week. I will admit, trying to make things happen, especially being a short week. Shit happens, man. I might have picked the wrong horse, so I'll just have to deal with that and move on. Which I know a lot of people out there can relate to.
Yeah, even our pod brother having some issues still.
Oh yeah, Gaz.
It's just something about the Australian workforce at the moment, and look, I believe now, I'm not sure if all states are doing this, but I think the close contact rules are changing now.
Yeah.
So if someone in your household has COVID, as long as you're testing negative, you're sweet to cruise out, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah, fantastic, man. It really is about time.
Because what I found is happening now, obviously, one of my workers had COVID, Rusty hasn't had it. So, hasn't really been that much of an issue. But I do know, like, the only other thing I do in my life is I play basketball on a Wednesday night.
Yeah.
And, like, every fucking week someone's like, oh, my missus has COVID, can't play. And I'm like, fuck you, I bet you're lying. Or, like, who gives a fuck? Just test yourself and come and play.
Well, that's it. Yeah, so we've had COVID in the house, but I wasn't there, so there's 8. I just fucking moved out.
Yeah, it's just a pain in the ass. Like, obviously we did our COVID episode, but man, it's a thing of the past. Like, we all just need to move on.
I mean, the poor bastards with COVID are probably like, it's not in the past for me.
Don't get me wrong. I am not one of those people. Like, I've had conversations, but even conversations with people today, and I do think we need to look after our elderly, and I do think we need to look after our compromised.
Yeah.
I very much think we need to protect them, but at the same time, I think, we just got to stop pussyfooting around. I know that if you're working at Bunnings, or if you're working at, I don't know, just fucking not for a small lawnmower business, but like, you have a close contact, you fucking take a week off and you can go and get like 700 government money or whatever it is, and it's just too fucking easy for people.
Way too easy.
And there's staff shortages everywhere because people are obviously surviving off this shit.
It's crazy though. I put an ad up in Seek, so I threw an ad up and I got 40 people apply for the job, and I whittled that down to 8. And then I whittled that 8 down to 2. One hasn't contacted me, and the other one is fantastic, and I definitely am looking into him. He ticks all the boxes, and he's about the same age as me, so that's good. And he has a family, so I feel like they're a little bit more reliable. Mm-hmm. And
Alright, so we'll update everyone next Thursday.
Keep everyone.
And maybe we'll have a little segment. How's BJ's workers?
We're looking forward to meeting each other. We had a good conversation on the phone. So like, he's down to earth. I can normally tell. So I got a bit duped with this young fella because.
Does he listen?
Nah.
He's too much of a dumb fuck to listen.
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck anyway. Like, he knows he's fucked up. So he didn't actually contact me from when I sent him a message on Friday afternoon saying, get yourself sorted. I'll see you on Tuesday. He didn't send me a message until Monday night. So yeah, fucking too bad. So sad. I will try and use him this week if he decides to come in, and then I'll fuck him off.
Just straight up, hey, you're hand weeding today.
Yeah.
Or just
6 days. Well, I've had some people say that he's a bit, has a bit of trouble following directions as well. So yeah, fuck me.
Yeah, well, there's a reason why he was available in the first place. Right?
Yeah, well, I mean, he was working FIFA and things like that. So I thought I think he's got
the last 2 fucking minutes on the work site.
I think he's got a bit of back cash. That's why he's not too keen on working, because he's not getting paid much because he's not fucking at work. So
yeah.
But anyway, fuck that. It's all in the past. We'll get past it and come out the other side golden.
Yeah. Now, I just want to address all of our awesome listeners.
Oh, yeah.
So, look, we're getting, like, awesome download results.
Yeah.
Averaging over 1,000 a week now, which is fantastic. We love that. But
Huge.
We need some more reviews, guys and girls.
We've had no reviews for about 3 weeks now, I think.
Yeah. So now we've had plenty of interaction, which we love.
Yeah.
I've had lots of interaction, personal messages, a little bit on YouTube, some bits and pieces.
Yeah.
But look, definitely leave us a review. I'll even take a bloody negative review. Just give us something.
Just anything. We really appreciate, and that's the only way we're actually going to get out into the community is if we get reviews. We get picked up by the algorithms. It spits us out into people's laps, and we do the work from there. So reviews, please, pretty please. If there's 1,000 downloads a week, then we've got like 43 or something reviews.
I think we've got 49.
I'm sure there's a few people who can take 2 seconds out and throw us a review.
And you get a shout out too.
Yeah, you get a shout out.
Also, a quick little shout out to Ruben from LMCA.
Hey.
He had a suggestion. He said that we should get our wives either to do a show or on the show. Now, he swears he's not a perv. He goes, I'm not a perv. But he thinks it'd be an interesting story.
What did Vicky say?
She wasn't very keen.
Yeah, Lucy.
She's just like, I've got nothing to say.
Yeah. That's what Lou was like. She's like, no, go fuck yourself. And I was like, oh, okay.
And I want to definitely say, like, now, you're like best friends with your wife, right?
Yeah.
Vicky's like my best friend as well. But there's just certain things that, like, she, like, talking is probably not a strong suit.
Yeah.
I do all the fucking talking.
No, Lou's pretty good at talking.
Sometimes I even do her talking.
Oh, shit.
Sometimes I actually, like, tell her feelings to me.
What do you do? Like, now, Vicky, I can feel that you're feeling like I'm being a dickhead.
So, like, I say, like, Vicky, I can tell you're horny as hell right now. Jump on my face.
Oh shit!
No, she's not a super expressive person. Which is good and bad. Good thing is I don't have to hear shit all the time.
Yeah.
But the bad thing is that shit explodes every once in a while. So
that's right.
But anyway, great topic suggestion. Now we did have another topic suggestion. I don't have my phone with me, but someone texted me maybe via Instagram, and they requested an episode about hedge trimming.
Yeah.
Now usually we would have a bit of a bank going of episodes, and I thought, the hell, why not just why not talk about a hedge trimming today?
That's fucking as good a subject as any. Most of us do it. I know there's a few people who aren't keen. No, they just want to mow, and that's perfectly fine. But yeah, I think most people throw a hedge trimmer on board and do a bit of slicing and dicing here and there. Yeah, and it's one of those. I think it's one of those tasks that not only can it be super rewarding. It can be very beneficial financially. Yeah. But it can also be very therapeutic, right? Oh, man, I love it. I think the other day you posted up Rusty on the Ego. Yeah, on the handheld. And I was actually on site, but I wasn't watching you. When I saw it on Instagram, that was the first time I saw it. And I was watching it and I was just thinking I wish I trimmed that one. Yeah. Because it just looked like he was. And there's certain key members of the Instagram world and stuff, and you see them, trimming awesome hedges, and you're like, fuck, that looks mad. I know there's a few guys out there. Southern Cross, I don't know if he listens, but fuck, he does some good shit, like really nice stuff. Yeah, lots and lots of great contractors. Now, it's also one of those markets where if you're new to the game, even if you've sort of, done a little bit around your house, it can be different when you go into the commercial market, because every head, even if you were just a homeowner, you're working a government job and you had beautiful hedges at your house, that doesn't always translate in the commercial market, because you got, neglected hedges,
you know, you've got other contractors. I think you made a comment once, like every single complex or you know, say like hedge place that you've picked up, people are like, oh, can you fix these because they got fucking hacked apart?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, there's been a couple. The one that I picked up previous, it's literally just a small complex with hedges and a footpath. That one was immaculate when I turned up, so I got really lucky with that one because I could just follow the lines. But yeah, there's been a few where I've had to fucking really hook in. But again, with a homeowner that does his or her hedges, it's
very politically correct. They're bugging in the her.
Yeah, of course.
Sorry,
but it's
don't do it.
Yeah, but it seems like they have all the time in the world to clean up and shit like that. Whereas in a contractor environment, we're getting in and we're fucking getting out as quick as we can with the best results that we can. What about Trigger? Chris Trigger?
Oh, yeah.
Bro, that dude has dropped some fucking hedges since he started.
Yeah, I haven't...
the Lawny.
He's
killing
it. I know who he is and everything. I must have missed what...
Oh, dude, he... So
he's only been in business for like 2 months or
something. Yeah, I think a little bit longer than that. The hedge reductions that he's done around our area are huge, and he does a fucking fantastic job.
Yeah.
It's not something that I enjoy doing. I don't like the reduction side of things.
No, reduction's a shit house. Like, I think it's good if you're in a complex environment or like a commercial ongoing. I guess even in the residential market as well. But a lot of the times, the only times that we would do a hedge reduction is for our own benefit.
Yeah.
So at our village now, I'm still saying our village, even though it's your village now, right? It's because technically I'm still going there.
Yeah, we can share.
What we've always done is we have like a winter program, and anything that is kind of getting away from us, we try and trim back down to say like 5 to 6 foot.
Yeah.
Now, over a 12-acre lot of land, it is good to have a few taller hedges here and there, right. But generally, you know what this is like.
Yeah.
You don't want to be dragging a bloody ladder around.
No, and I have got a few like that at one of my complexes that will change over winter. But the village game is completely different to the residential game because most residential customers, I'll say some residential customers, will take advantage of the low growth and just not get you in. And you'll be wanting to drop that and you'll be like, it'll make it easier on me. And they're like, I don't give a fuck. I'm not going to pay you to do something that doesn't really need doing.
So, and, some people in the residential market also like having taller hedges for...
privacy.
I was going to say privacy.
Oh, okay. Privacy?
Nah, I'm not one of them dudes.
Nah, okay.
But yeah, no, for privacy, they want to, keep, hedges taller so that the neighbours aren't peeping.
Yeah.
Or so I'm not staying across the road.
Fuck, look out. Yeah, I was going to mention
that. I think I had someone comment.
Yeah.
But hey, my bad. I mean, I said it on there.
Talking about that, man. We live in...
Ooh, do you have a peep story?
Well, it's going to be a future peep story. Well, so there's neighbours directly behind us, and then their neighbours on the left-hand side, if you're looking out my back deck, have battle axed their block. And it is not a big block. And the people have started building a 2-story house, which directly just hovers above the next door neighbour's pool. I'd be fucking fuming. So now I'm going to have to watch out when I go to my pool because...
Yeah, I swim nude in my pool all the time.
There's no way I can swim nude in my pool. I've fucking got, 15 fucking people who can see me now.
Have I ever dropped the sidebar about the real estate agent on here?
I think so.
Okay. I'm not going to bust that again then.
We do it.
Have I really dropped it?
I don't know, maybe. I've heard the story personally, but I don't know if it's been on here.
Okay, so, look, I do apologise if I've said this, but it's just one of those typical stories, so I'll just, I'll say it again. But one day in the middle of summer, I was, working like crazy, building Catch Pros, and we had a house inspection. We live in a rental, and the agent was supposed to be coming at a certain time. I don't know how I did it, but I got my wife in the pool. And we're sort of messing around, like nothing real serious, just me being a little devo. And I did end up with I'm just gonna say it.
Yeah.
A stiffy.
Yeah.
And so anyway, my missus said to me, she goes, she's like, cut it out. The real estate's coming. We got shit to do, rah rah. And I was like, whatever. So I got out, and I, instead of going, like, because I was dripping wet, I had no clothes on.
Oh.
I was in there nude. I grabbed a towel, came straight into my office. Now, nobody, and people would know, Catch Pro customers and other people locally who have come to my property, you can't come in here without a dog barking like crazy. Like, we always know when people are here, right? Anyway, I walked into my office and just dropped me towel. And all I heard behind me was this, uh-oh. And I was like, what the hell? And I was still raging.
Oh.
And I've quickly put a towel on, and then I've realised that because I'm still raging, like you can't tuck and roll.
Nah.
Because, you know, and I've tried to pop my head out and be like, oh, just give us a minute, or, you know.
Which head?
Yeah. And the poor lady, like, she saw me straight up starkers.
Yeah.
She was so embarrassed. And I was going to say to her, why are you so embarrassed? I'm the one that should be embarrassed. So then all I've said is, oh, just walk down. Vicky's inside. Vicky's starkers as well. Anyway, she's come out, and because she can imagine, because I've still got a bloody towel on. Anyway.
Did you calm down by then?
Well, I think all of the excitement was keeping the rage alive.
Finished you off. The exhibitionist.
So anyway, that was super awkward moment, and nothing to do with hedge trimming.
Yeah, no, I've had a similar one. I stood on a coffee table and the Avon lady knocked, and I didn't realise the curtain was a little bit open, and she's like, knock, 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 and I was standing on a coffee table changing a light bulb and naked. And
who does that?
So, BJ does. So she's looked through, like, put her hands up to the glass just to see if anyone's home, and knocked again, and she's like, ah! And there's me just full starkers, like, reaching up, changing this light bulb on the coffee table.
Oh no!
Fucking hell. Lou never got her Avon, so
yeah. And I can only imagine this lady, like, she might have been, say, mid-40s or something.
Yeah.
But like,
I was like mid-50s, in her 60s. She was.
I can just only imagine that this woman would have just gone back to the office and just told everyone. And I'm like, yeah.
Imagine the shit they would see, though.
Just quickly before we, actually get into the hedge trimming, tell us any of your nude stories, but keep them work related. Like, have you ever knocked on the door and a lady, like, I've heard stories, a local handyman here, he's knocked on the door to do a job, and a like woman has answered in like a Catwoman suit, like all sorts of crazy things. We know what happens to Leroy.
Yeah, what about my knife and fork? And
Victoria. Have we said this?
Nah, I don't think so.
So, everyone knows that BJ has a knife and fork tattooed on his ass for some reason.
No idea why.
Not even little, like solid, right?
Yeah. It's
like a proper real life
size of a knife and fork.
And you in business.
Yep.
Doing a job for my wife's friend.
Yep.
Weeding the garden.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I get like a screenshot sent to me from my wife. And it's you with your fucking knife and fork hanging out.
Digging through a garden.
And I was at work, like I was a contractor. And I'm thinking like, are you with him?
Is BJ in our garden again?
Yeah, no, like I thought that, I didn't know what I thought. And then, she said, the client was sitting in her house having a cup of tea, and she's just come out and seen BJ and she's like, yeah, fuck yeah, snapshot that, setting that straight to the girls.
She became a long-term client though, so
but the only time, like I've had, bits and pieces happen to me, but I'll never forget this time where I've gone up, wasn't like I'd already been mowing. Someone owed me money, and I was coming back like a week later. And I walked up the stairs, gone to knock on the door, and the bloody client, she's like 70. The client was butt naked, just watching TV. And I don't know what the hell she was doing, but like I saw everything.
Oh.
And I just sort of was like, oh, and quickly like turned back down the stairs, and I thought like, fuck, she saw me, I can't leave.
Mm-hmm.
And she just legit like came to the door and was like, oh, g'day Ben, rah, just like nothing had happened.
Did she put clothes on before she came to the door?
Yeah, she put this fucking shithouse sarong on that didn't fuck with. And I was like, well, she's not being awkward, so I won't be awkward.
Where's my fucking money? Imagine if she took the sarong back off and went,
was 70 years
come
old,
and get it.
Yeah, no, I don't think anything like that was going to happen. But like, she didn't know I was coming, so it wasn't like, you know. But she was like 70 years old, and her vagina looked like a normal one. Like it was. But like,
oh no!
It was all, like it was all like waxed and everything. Like
no!
Like if that was the only thing that you could see, you'd have a tube.
like a glory hole, ladies.
Yeah, like those little surprise ones. Eh?
Oh shit, dude!
Anyway, that's my little story.
Wow, that's hectic.
If you want to hear, well, look, I've got more. So if you want to hear any other,
please send them in. Send them in on your reviews. And we'll read them out.
Do you have any of those? I'm sure you've got some more. We'll save it for future eps. But anywho, we're going to talk a little bit about hedge trimming today. Now, obviously, there's tons of stuff that we could talk about on this topic.
Yeah.
In terms of what types of hedges that you like to do, can you rattle off some of the species of?
Yeah,
do you love, like, are you one of those dudes who rocks up to a job and you see a Sheena's Gold and you're like, oh, for fuck's sakes, or do you love it?
I don't mind a Sheena's. I love Moreas. I love Coastal Rosemary, or what is it, Westringia? Is it Westringia? I don't know how to say. I call it Coastal Rosemary anyway.
Look, my knowledge, once I get outside Moreas, Sheena's, Lily Pillies, like a few different types of Lily Pillies, I'm pretty ordinary after that.
I don't mind boxing up trees as well. Like, I've got a few trees. Actually, there's some situations where callistemons are really nice to
I can get with that.
Yeah, so
if they're not like real woody, right?
Yeah. If they've been trained and they've been constantly maintained, then they're really nice. But I'll have a crack at anything. But yeah, probably Sheena's, maintained Sheena's, not those scraggly fucking stabby ones.
A Sheena's Gold, it needs to be well maintained. You need to stay on it because
like a fortnightly,
at least, because what I find otherwise, I mean, different climates maybe.
Well, where I am.
But what I find is it's difficult to square them up and get your right angles.
Yeah,
they tend to want to dip.
Yeah.
A little bit, and that's why you see a lot of balls or a lot of rounded squares.
Yep.
Which I think looks nice as well, but over time, if you sort of miss the ball, or even if you got a rookie on it, you can get like a little boop boop.
Yeah, I dig the new. Like I've seen a lot of new. I don't know if they're new, but miniature Moreas popping up. So we got a few of those popped
up.
Not
a Buxus, right?
Not a Buxus, miniature Morea.
Yeah.
I don't have. I've only got like one Buxus. And
I don't have a lot of time for Buxus. I see, Anthony Moore on Instagram. He seems to do a ton of Buxus.
Yeah.
Look, I think it's great. It's just backbreaking work.
Yeah.
I mean, geez, I can't even really remember the last time I used a hand hedge trimmer. And I know you've got one.
Yeah. I actually got a little bit of love for that now.
Yeah, I think for me and my back, if I was doing everything within the confines of my own reach, where I didn't have to reach out, because that's when the leverage becomes really bad on my back. But I think all of that low work. I mean, you'd probably do that with a pole hedger anyway, and just articulate that, and just So, just quickly for anyone new out there, what sort of hedging setups would you recommend? Do you think being fully equipped, or can you get away with one style or
Oh,
another?
look, I think when you're starting out, you could probably get away with maybe a multi-tool setup. I think a multi-tool is a really good place to start and get the hedger attachment, because you can normally, depending on your multi-tool and the power in it, you could probably tackle some big shit. It's a really good thing because you can cross it over from maintenance to your cleanups, because you can drop a pole saw attachment in. You can knock down all that shit. You can do your reductions. You can chainsaw the really woody bits, and then you can go over with the hedge trimmer and do the finer bits. So, yeah, I would probably start. I think, well, that's where I started anyway. I had a Shindaiwa T230, the old good ones. Mm-hmm. And, I had that for a long time. 3 years, I think I had that one.
And knowing what you know now, with all battery talk and everything, are you going to be pulling cords for hedge trimmers anymore?
Not anymore. I think maybe when you first start, it's fine to go petrol. It makes a lot of sense. But yeah, for me now, I've got villages that require battery equipment, and it's nice. Like it is really nice to use battery equipment when you're hedging, because normally if you've got a pole saw, a pole hedger, it's up near your face. Like if you're doing hedges at head height or shoulder height, or the closer they are to your face, the closer the engine is, and you don't want those fumes in your gob.
And quickly, just for our audience as well, just quickly rattle off through some of the because you've recently taken over my business.
Yeah.
And we had bits and pieces,
Right.
and then the workers had bits and pieces. It's a little bit of a
So
situation.
I've got a bit of everything.
Rattle through for everyone.
So I got a bit of. I've got some steel. I just picked up a new steel. What would you call it? Like a.
I don't know what the fucking one.
I don't know. It's the one with
It's the new one that accepts the cartridge straight into the
in.
RC.
Yeah. So
without the leash.
Yeah. So that one, I've got that.
Quickly with the multi-tool attachment.
Yep, multi-tool attachment.
Yeah.
So I've got the Husqvarna dedicated hedge trimmer, another great unit. I've tried the Bushy domestic unit, and I loved using that. I did throw it through some heavy shit and I broke it. I didn't break the power head, I broke the actual attachment.
Yeah, so for anyone listening, obviously I run that Bushranger domestic line as well.
I'm a bit rough.
I seem to have some pretty good results. I did bust one. Now these hedger attachments, mind you, are like what, $118?
Yeah.
You went through probably 4 or 5, right?
Yeah. I was destroying them.
So all the commercial people that are doing regular amount, because you were doing like what, say,
fucking
6 hours a week?
Yeah, more than that probably.
Okay, fair enough. Yep.
Yeah. So
not a commercial tool.
No, it's not a commercial tool. Got a beautiful cut on it though. Fucking excellent cut.
The tip speeds are up there.
Yeah, it really is. So I got the Ego stuff. I'm really hoping that they come to the party soon with a commercial pole hedger. They have their pole hedger on their domestic line, and that's something that's actually not a bad unit as well.
Yeah, so I bought the
got
multi-tool, which is apparently not a commercial tool, but
doesn't it still have a 1-year commercial warranty on it?
man, I don't know. I was in one.
I'll have to double check that.
I was in one of those situations where I just needed to grab something.
Yeah.
So I really like that multi-tool.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that the tip speed is the fastest in the industry, but I think it's sufficient.
Yeah.
You used it the other day, right?
Yeah, I used it for a bit.
And I had used it before, and I've got demos on YouTube and stuff where we were getting pretty good results.
Yeah.
Durability it's tough to say because we've only really had it for a couple months.
Yeah.
But that's what you're using.
Yeah.
Doesn't really matter what I'm using because I don't fucking do it anymore. I am still using the Bushranger domestic tool. The Bushranger commercial battery stuff is dropping really soon. I know I've been saying that for a while, but the stuff is actually dropping very soon.
And it's a good thing that it didn't drop straight away because, then it might not have been ready. Benny tested the shit out of it.
Yeah, I mean, we needed to get this right.
You don't want to bring out a product that's not going to do exactly what you need it to, so it was good that they held it back.
Yeah, we just needed to dot the I's across the T's and just make sure that like what we actually needed was physically possible.
Yeah.
So that stuff will be coming out probably by next season.
Yeah, nice.
And if anyone out there is running a Bushranger petrol multi-tool, you'll be able to pick up the battery multi-tool, and all of the splines will be interchangeable.
Yeah, sweet.
Now, I haven't heard of this in a while, but the Shindewas might be running the 260 spline now, which is actually just like the same. It's just the Japanese general spline, so it'll be the same as the Bush Ranger.
Oh, for real?
The old school 230s used to run the smaller spline.
Yeah.
So if you are running either Echo or Shindewa, like the new styles, that might be compatible. I haven't tried it, but that might be compatible with your Bush Ranger.
So
it'd be good. We might even do an episode on Frankenstein machines and setups.
Yeah, nice.
Because I've done some crazy mad shit. And Rusty.
Rustified.
I mean, what did we rock up there the other day? We've got the Ego multi-tool, but we only bought the hedger attachment.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here watching him. We've got the commercial snipper, but I see him using a multi-tool with a snipper. I'm like, what's going on here? And upon closer inspection, he's taken the 260 Shindewa whipper snipper gearbox off, bunged it on the Ego.
He's a clever clogs up man.
Yeah, so...
but yeah, there's tons of different brands. You've got, so Makita are bringing out a new 40 volt range. I actually got a call from Trent from Two Green Thumbs today.
Mm-hmm.
Cool dude. He was in one of my villages while I wasn't there. I bought a new fucking backpack blower. I wasn't on site. So, yeah, he services one of the... He services June's place.
Okay, yeah.
So, yeah. But, he noticed that I had my Ego stuff there, and he rang me and asked me about Ego and the new Makita 40 volt stuff. And that was the first I heard of the new Makita 40 volt shit coming out. I had no idea. But if anyone's got the inside scoop on that, let us know. But, there's Makita, there's Milwaukee, DeWalt. DeWalt's there as well.
Yeah, I haven't looked at that, but I will tell, this is my view on like your hedge trimmer style stuff, right? So if it is, because I do believe that once you get to a certain bracket or a certain spec, that things are going to be pretty comparable. You just have to see what situation. Like, I've always been under the assumption, let's say Jared Summer, for example, he has like 16 Makita batteries with all of his impact drivers and grinders and stuff that all of his power tools. And it makes a lot of sense for someone in that situation to use the Makita line of OPE.
Yeah.
If you were someone like me who...
Slut.
Hey, it is what it is.
It is.
If you're... Well, actually, it's not really, because in terms of battery gear, I've only ever really run the Bush Ranger and Ego.
Yeah. Oh, I was talking about power tool brands that you've got.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I'm a little bit of mixed bag with that, but that's because, I'm not a super handy dude. I bought my Bosch stuff a couple of years ago, and then...
Do they have OPE?
No, just only a Kook line.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I probably would have looked into it.
Yeah.
But I did end up getting a battery riveter from Milwaukee.
Yeah.
There was only Makita and Milwaukee that had one, and the Makita wasn't in stock. Okay. I actually went down to Trade Tools to buy the Makita.
Yeah.
And ended up with the Milwaukee. So, and it's only a 12 volt range, so it would be compatible with their OPE anyway. But there are some situations where certain things make certain sense. If you're running a Bush Ranger petrol multi-tool right now, then I would probably wait for that gear. If you're running a lot of Husqvarna petrol gear, then I'd probably head down to your Husqvarna dealer.
Yeah.
It's definitely the same as Stihl, because all of that shit is interchangeable.
Yeah.
They were at least smart enough to say, all right, we're going to make this compatible.
Yeah.
Anyone who's not doing that is a dog.
Yeah.
Because they're upselling.
Yeah. We forgot to mention there's Echo stuff out there, which I haven't seen much of. I know you've done a demo of the old stock, but...
Yeah, and I don't even know. I did take a photo of something that I saw at Southside Multi.
Yeah, I actually saw that today.
I don't know if that's a new generation. I was supposed to do my research, never went back.
Yeah, that's
So anyway, that's a little bit about the equipment. Now we're going to talk a little bit about quoting. Now I'm probably a little bit old school. You know, I can't remember the last time I did a hedge quote at a residential place. If it was something in the last year or two and we had because, you know, we're just doing fuck all residential.
Yeah.
If I had a residential client that we were mowing at and they had said like, oh, how much to trim this hedge, I can imagine I would have either said, Rusty, just fucking do it and charge whatever and you keep it.
Yeah.
Or I might have asked for a photo, and if I fucked up it didn't matter that much because I had a worker doing all the work anyway.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you a funny story. This is like 15 years ago when we first started Mr. V's Garden Care. And once my dad was already out of it, I remember him saying to me, he said, go and do a letterbox drop. You know, because the lawns were really dying off back then.
Yeah.
You know, 2003,
Jaddies.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we didn't do hedge trimming initially.
Yeah.
And I remember him saying to me, like, he made the flyer up and it said hedge trimming from $5. And I fucking looked at him and I said, fuck off, Dad.
Straight up.
And I thought, you know, from $5, fuck off.
Yeah.
And he goes, no, Benny, he goes, from $5.
Yeah.
You know, people will see that in the mail and they'll be like, hell yeah, ring up this dude. And once you get there, you might have a ball hedge here. Okay, that's $7. You might have this here. All right. Once you get to, you know, you get into a $200 job. Now, I have never been one in my business to quote per hedge.
No.
How about you?
I don't quote per hedge. I'll normally just look at the whole job. Yeah, the whole job. When I first started out, and I get this question all the time, like, how do you quote hedges? When I first started out, I had no idea how long anything was going to take me to cut. I had no idea how long it was going to take me to clean up. So I always just charged at an hourly rate until I found my feet and I felt confident that I could actually price something up and walk away happy. Then I used an hourly rate. You put a nice hourly rate, you'll never lose. The customer knows exactly what they're in for. You give them a roundabout time because, you know, if you go over a little bit, it's not going to hurt. But, yeah, I just always say, look, if you're starting out, go for an hourly rate.
Yeah, I mean, I've always hated hourly rates. Unless I got someone with me, then I can justify it any day of the week.
Yeah.
But what I think, you know, looking back now, what I would probably suggest and recommend is use the hourly rate in your head to get a guideline and just think like, I mean, if you're as green as and you've never done hedge trimming before, then you're right. You're probably not going to know how long things are going to take. But if you've got a couple of months under your belt or maybe a season, even if you come along something tricky, you might be sort of like, well, I think I can probably do this in 2 hours. So, you know, you may be looking at around $160. Yeah. And then you sort of think to yourself, now, did you ever charge, like, when you charged a place, did you charge for the trimming and the cleanup and the green waste removal all in one price?
Yeah.
Or did you, because that's how I always did.
Yeah, because, well, back when I first started, green bins weren't really a thing and not a lot of people had, like, the bag services. So it was basically take it or leave it, you know. Everybody wants you to take it.
You didn't say like, okay, it's going to be $200 plus green waste.
Because I would normally just stick it all in, and if they question it, I'll say, well, that includes your green waste. Yeah. Normally with my quotes, I will put, you know, there's the trimming, the cleaning, and the green waste, and then I'll give them my price.
Yeah.
So.
And like. When you're trimming a job, do you do, what do you think about string lines? Now, this is not a stab. I won't mention his name just because we don't really, like, I'm legit not trying to stir up shit. It's not something that I've ever considered.
No.
And it's not something that I actually really, like, my personal take on it is I don't think it's necessary.
No, I don't think it's necessary. If you're not confident and you're doing a massive reduction, by all means, go for it.
A reduction is the only situation where I feel that a string line would be warranted.
Yeah, I feel like using your eye, like you can normally gauge, look at something in the distance, like even if you can line up a house gutter, the bricks on a wall, the palings on like a weatherboard house, something like that. There's normally something that you can pick behind it, and you can have like a point along and sort of see.
So what I've always found about string lines is
you cut them.
No, like I've always found, like if I was to set up a string line at any job, I always still feel like, okay, that's a great guideline to work off, and you can stick to that, but you can still fuck it up.
It's so bad.
Like if you have like a bug hit your face while you're revving your chainsaw on a reduction, or like, you can still fuck up some shit. I've been leaning over hedges before, and the little ones where you're actually using the hedge to actually hold you up.
Yeah.
And I've had like things just fall in, and I've done the old dip in. So there's still
well, when you're bringing a hedge down, you'll come to a place where it's not like a straight piece of wood. It'll be like a bundle of sticks, and you
can't, a family tree.
Yeah, like a family tree. So you can't get your hedger through there. So you got to go get the loppers, and more than likely you'll have to chop it below where your cut point is anyway. The good thing about hedges is they grow back.
They're very forgiving.
They are very forgiving. I know there'd be. I mean, like I said, I don't fuck with Buxus and things like that. I'm sure the topiary guys are probably spitting at their phones right now, saying "fuck up, BJ, you don't know shit." But I'm in a different sector. Like that's a specialty all of its own. The work that they do is amazing. But what I do is is different. It's like you got to power through. Like you got to be quick, got to be efficient, and you got to be on point, because fucking you don't want 104 people driving out of their driveways and go, "What's that shit?"
Yeah. Sidebar. I feel like I might have fucking told this story as well, but I'll just say it again. And
story time.
Everyone will just have to let me know, right? But I years and years ago, I worked briefly for Tyson from EPMS, and they did all strata work in Brisbane City, literally in the city, and we used to just hit like all the unit blocks. And I remember one of the workers, Steve-O's like, righto, jump on these hedges. And he used to mop and do the stairwells. And so he's inside this glass stairwell, right? And I had no idea that he was even watching me. So, and I've always held myself to be a pretty good hedge trimmer.
Yep.
And so I'm trimming some hedges, and I'm on like a full main drag and everything. And then I've like hopped over to the next hedge, and I've, it sort of looked like a ball, and started it, and I thought, what the fuck's going on here? I had a look at it, and it just looked like a funky shape.
Yeah.
And I thought, I don't know, maybe something snapped or, whatever. So I've just like taken this big section out of it, and then I just like hear like this knock, and this like, "Oh, Benny," and like turned around. And Steve-O's just like, "Oi, Benny, that was me duck that I've been trying to shape up for like 6 months. You just chopped the fucking tail off." And I just like...
R.I.P. Quackers.
Yeah, so like... and the head was still there.
Oh, no.
Like, you couldn't... Like, he was training it. But like, it was just... Like, as soon as he said it, and then I looked down at the ground, I was like, "Oh, I get it now." I feel massive his little duck thing.
Oh, poor thing.
Let us know if you've had any situations and stuff like that. Have you at all?
Remember the fucking hedges we did together, and I fell down the rock wall?
Yeah, but like, I'm just talking about ones like where you've done a big fuck up, like where you've like. I know I've done other jobs where. If you've got like a block of land and the fence maybe has a very gradual fall.
Yeah.
And you've got a chance, like, there's really 3 ways you can do it, right?
Yeah.
The hedge can fall with the fence, which I don't think looks very good.
Yeah.
You can step it, which usually you would step a hedge if someone's been fucking lazy.
Yeah. Or if the fence is stepped.
If the fence is stepped, then it's pretty natural.
Yeah.
Or what you can do is you can actually keep the hedge running in a straight line, and the fence becomes negligible.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know. And we've done jobs before where we've made up our own mind. You know, we're polishing someone else's turd.
Yeah.
And the client has come out, and even though it looks $1 million, they're just like, no, we didn't fucking want that. And but have you ever had any doozies, or are you just fucking perfect?
No, I'm not perfect by any means. I don't think I've had any real fuck ups. Maybe in a village where some old duddies come out and be like, "Oh, you've taken too much off that." Yeah. I'll be like, "Well, you know what? It looked like fucking shit. Now it looks good." So,
what about at one of my villages? They have a lot of bottle brushes.
Yeah.
Which, you know, they were not super mature. They look like they'd kind of half been hedged, but we're in like that awkward stage where it's like, I don't really know what this is. It's not really a tree, and it's not really a hedge. And, you know, they're sort of touching like the buildings a little bit, hanging over the doorways. So we've like balled them up and get mad raps. Like everyone's like, oh, they look fantastic, rah rah. And then like after a couple months, people are like, yeah, and then like 6 months later, they look fantastic.
Yeah.
These beautiful balls, like,
I love
and I know
balls.
you got some good balls.
Yeah, I've got some big balls. And
all of a sudden, the committee's just like, no, we don't want that anymore.
Yeah.
And it's like,
why?
Can't you just fuck off and let us do? Like, I know that obviously is more work for us, but it's way more satisfying.
Oh man, satisfaction is a huge part of hedge trimming.
Satisfaction.
Yeah.
Fuck, I love that film.
Me too.
Anyway.
But yeah, I get the feels, man. The satisfaction part of that is huge. We, like, you know, with my village, how they've stopped us from doing in between the houses. It's fucking horrible. It's an eyesore, and
you don't want your name on it, right?
No, I don't. Like, I love everything else around it. Is just, you know, it's not topiarized, but it's all trimmed, and it's trimmed very nicely, very neatly. Clean up is on point, and then you got this fucking hibiscus that's 15 foot high, and it looks like a kicked-in ball bag. It's like, why? Why are you letting this happen? And, you know, they're renters. They're not going to fucking give me, you know, the $200 it's going to cost to get it back into shape.
Now, how do you feel when a client says, we want a natural trim? Or, like, we want the natural look? Because I've always been under the impression, right, if, like, any time you get that done, there's just nothing natural about it.
My wife did it to me.
Yeah, so my wife's a little bit the same.
Yeah.
Like, we, at my old house, I mean, I do it here, and it looks nicer here because there is so much greenery.
Yeah.
But I had a couple little hedges, and when we moved in, they were just like these big, tall jerks that, you know, had just either sprung up or no one did anything with. And I immediately did the big reduction and started shaping, training them up, had a few balls, a few rectangles around. And I remember my wife saying, like, oh, you know, and like I always looked at it and I was always like, fuck, this is neat.
Yeah.
Because it was my house. I used to get out there with the secchies and, you know, fucking...
Oh, I wouldn't do that. But...
No, just pottering.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I'd use a hedge trimmer. But,
okay. I was going to say...
No, I'd use a hedge trimmer, but, you know, just generally when the kids are playing, you could just potter and do little bits.
Yeah.
And, yeah, my wife would say to me, like, oh, I kind of prefer the natural look. And I'm just like, do you even fucking know what you're talking about?
That's right. We've got 2 hibiscus out the front of our... like, you walk out onto our patio, the front one, and there's 2 variegated hibiscus. I was like, fuck, they look raggedy as shit. I think I'm going to ball those up. And she's like, oh, I'd like them to look natural. I'm like,
yeah, it's like,
what do? I just leave it.
Yeah, and like,
I do know what she means. There's like a few strays, but one is so much bigger than the other. And then she said, oh, they should be about the same size. That'd be good. But then one's going to look like it's had its foreskin chopped off. And the other one's going to look just not natural. Like,
yeah. So that's the tough thing as well. Like, sometimes when you go... Because usually if you're trying to keep something looking natural, you're obviously not trying to flat it or box it up.
Or put any sort of curve or structure on it.
It's usually a much easier job.
Yeah.
You're probably just tipping or
like when it's got those big hangy dicks hanging out of the top or out of the sides, you can just knock those off. But
I think the only time that we ever really try and leave anything in a work environment is if it's blooming.
yeah, that's how I work too.
It's definitely important to note, like, if you're, if you've got a committee up your ass or even a resident somewhere and you're looking for an excuse to not do something, if you can see any fucking buds or blooms coming,
Yeah.
or even if you know a little bit about your shit and, say it's August, it's coming out in September, tell you what, that can really be, like, if you just don't have time to do, or you don't want to do something, she's gonna fucking bloom, man.
Yeah, give it a couple of months. We'll get to it, and you'll enjoy the blooms during the late August period.
So
we got the same deal, man. Nothing gets cut when it's blooming.
Yep. Now, when we're talking about cleanups, yeah, shit job, but do you ever mess with like any sort of tarp systems? I mean, look, you and I, we're in the commercial sector, and it's really not feasible.
Yeah.
Is that the correct word?
Feasible.
Did I say it wrong?
I think you said feasible.
Yeah.
I thought you were like crossing feasible and feces. But
anywho,
on rocks. Rocks is where I'll try and throw some bags down.
I don't so is there something that you do?
Yeah. So only on rocks, because I fucking hate clean up out of rocks, because you never blow it clean properly. If you just let everything drop onto it, especially like bigger rocks, because you'll get bigger shit stuck in them. That's the only time. Every other time it just gets blown on and mowed up. Now, I'll give you a cheap plug here. The Catch Pro has changed my life with hedge cleanups. And I'm sure like the guys with Walkers or Giannis, they all know the same deal. It is so much.
I mean, even dudes push mowing, right?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Before we had the Catch Pro, we would always say, like, we would never try and make it a free service. If someone got us in to just do the hedging, usually if we were in someone's backyard, we would put the price on to mow the backyard as well. And sometimes people would be like, look, we don't want you to mow. And we'd always just say, it just really finishes the job off. Like, I'm fucked in the head that way where, like, I wouldn't even be able to start cleaning my hedge clippings until I'd whippersnipped as well.
Yeah.
Because seeing, when you're on, like, let's say you got a garden edge, you got a hedge, all the clippings have fallen, and where you would whippersnip is like long grass.
Yeah,
it just fucks with me.
Yeah, and there's always a couple at the bottom that you missed that have gone into the grass.
Yeah, and then so like what I would do is I'd get the hedging done, and before I even think about cleaning up, I'd quickly run around with the bip.
Yep.
And then that way you got your blank canvas.
Yeah. And
I just usually would get the bulkiness with a rake, and then blow everything out into the grass that I could, and then when you finish. Sometimes you have to get around on your hands and knees and pick up little bits and pieces.
Nah,
I never mess with tarps or anything.
No, I've only done it. I've only done it for rocks, and I only have one customer that gets us in every 6 weeks to do anything at their property. So I just haven't really found the want to carry another fucking thing in the trailer like a tarp. I know it doesn't sound like it'd be a lot, but when you're doing a big ass hedge, it works out to a lot. Plus, if I mow it up, then the head, it's all compacted. So it all gets minced up, and it's half the size of what it'd be if I was just trying to shove it into a bag.
Yeah. Do you, because I just personally in my business, like I didn't have a lot of hedging jobs where we weren't there to sort of do either additional tasks or mowing or anything. Like we always kind of had a consolidated service. Where we kind of either looked after their whole property, or even if we just did the mowing and occasionally did a hedge here or there, it was always the mowing was always the core part, never the hedging.
Yeah, no, I've never really had dedicated hedge jobs.
Where I know that some contractors have like mowing and hedging weeks.
Oh yeah. Greg
Anderson, he has that. So, and he said that his hedging week has been more lucrative financially.
Yeah, well, I know Ben Patterson has a bit of the same thing with his hedging.
I thought he was off it. Oh, it must have been someone else.
No, Ben Patterson's off LMCA, but I still chat to him.
No, I just thought he I just had thought that he was like, nah, fuck hedging.
No,
It's someone else.
He hedges. He makes good money hedging too. Okay. So he's making bank doing what he's doing. But no, I love it. It's actually one of the more satisfying jobs. I love whippersnipping. I love getting crispy edges.
Nah, see, I'm fucking sick of it.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I like it all except for cleanup. I fucking hate cleanup.
Yeah, look, I really hate the cleanups. I know that when I worked, like, we had a big complex that we worked at. We don't have this complex anymore, but we had a really strict...
Can I guess which one it is? Nut Tree Hill?
It wasn't. A different one. But,
Damn it.
We had a pretty strict schedule, and we really needed to get the bulkiness of what we were doing done by about 11 o'clock. Because even though you were there all day, the wind gets up and it just makes it really hard to clean, and you need to you have to do the hedging and the snipping before you clean. And then you have smoko, so if you start the cleanup at like 10:30, it's going to take till 11:30, then you have smoko, which could drag out to 12:30, and I'm half asleep by then anyway. So but like, I know with the cleanup, like, I could just never get my workers to do it the way that I wanted. Even someone like Rusty, who was fantastic, you could leave him to do it, and it would be. And this was before him anyway. But I don't know if you get this, but like, your hedge clippings when you're blowing like a big area or a big zone down, when they fall inside the edges.
Yeah.
When you've snipped.
Yeah.
It used to drive me up the wall how the boys would see it and not do anything about it.
No, they just try and mow over it, like just shoot out.
Because it just doesn't vacuum the way that you need it to. And I would always, and like at some of these big sites, like I think we used to cover like fucking 3 acres a day.
Yeah.
And when you're trying to work in with the wind and people's doorways and everything else, there's a lot. There's a lot of variables there.
I'm going to sound like a dick, but I went out and did some stuff today. Got a new backpack blower and stuff like that, and then I came back and I decided that I was going to give it a go. So I had to go back over some of the stuff the boys did, and it looked fine to everyone else.
Yeah, when you're just breezing through.
But to me, I'm like, that Tipicina's dropped a lot of leaves. I'm going to blow those out on the lawn as well. Like, it's just the finer things. But that's not hedge trimming, is it?
Oh,
that's just clean up.
Oh, look, I think a big part of this topic is your cleanup, because I know that I think there's some businesses out there that they'll do the hedge trim, but they won't clean up.
Yeah. You know what a good investment for village life would be? A billy goat. I think that's
the blowers?
No, the vacuums.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't fuck with the blowers because I'd just be blowing shit in people's yards, in people's front doors and under their garages. But I think
those blowers would be great in like your school campus.
Oh yeah, huge benefit.
Those types of environments. So we have messed with vacs a little bit, but at the end of the day, there's just too many variables. Like, you don't want to suck up all the like, you got the same thing when you're raking.
Yeah,
like if you come to some of our villages and there's fuck all mulch left because the boys have been blowing the mulch or they've been raking them, like taking too much away.
Yeah.
So there is, there's a line.
Yeah.
If you can lightly get it out and then vacuum that stuff and work in a 2-man crew, I think that could be pretty cool. Be good to know if anyone out there does use any sort of vacuum system.
Yeah, I know.
I think they're a little bit old school.
Clint uses a vacuum system.
Does he?
Yeah, the guy before my time at this village that basically is just hedges and a footpath, he used to blow everything into a corner and then use a vacuum. But I got so many staff, I did have so many staff. I just get them I blow it and then they just pick it up with a rake and a little dustpan end.
Yeah, so it's funny that you brought up the dustpan, because where I got the dustpan from was Tyson and his boys, and it was
so good.
It was funny. They used to talk the lingo to me, but they didn't really explain it. And I was just a fucking 20-year-old fuckhead, and I remember them saying like one of Steve-O was like the like Tyson was the boss, Steve-O was like my road boss. yeah, I would go to all the jobs with him. And he's cool as fuck, by the way. But he'd be like, yeah, Benny, you do all the hedging and I'll do this, rah, rah, rah. And then he's like, I'll jump on the blower and you just go around and find my piles. And he would have designated spots at every single job where he would know where that he can, you know, work all the stuff to. And then, like one day he just passed me like a bin and a dustpan. And I was sort of thinking like, the fuck you want me to do with this? And he's like, for the piles. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was thinking like, are you going to give me a brush or like, do I need a rake? Like, you know, and, yeah, as time went on, I learned that it was like another, like this one dustpan just became such a necessity in that work day. And then later on in my own business, and then I was training like a, you know, like an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
And he, you know, like was, you know, when the times would turn, I'm like, all right, I'm going to be blowing, you're going to be doing this, right. And I remember him looking at me the same way. And I was like, all right, I know you're fucking tripping out right now because you're seeing this dustpan. But I'm telling you, just fucking, you know, you can grab it, you can use it as a little claw.
Yeah, you can scoop it up against the gutter.
Yeah, you can do all this shit. And I remember one day, left him out of sight. I had to go to a complex and I must have accidentally both the dustpans in my one bin.
Yeah.
And get back to the job later on, and he'd cleaned up and everything. He's like, Benny, you must have taken the dustpan with you. He's like, I don't know what to fucking do. He's like, you know, such a simple thing. He's like, I was fucking lost.
Yeah, I love the old dustpan.
You still crank them?
Yeah, 100%.
Because the boys don't use them at the village.
Why?
Russell.
I might change that.
I would fucking love to get a photo of this. Russell has like 4 rakes.
Does he use them like together?
Oh, it wouldn't fucking surprise me. He has...
like claws.
So these are all, like, because we're at a village, sometimes people die or move out, and usually we don't get the stuff, but sometimes we get bits and pieces. Am I fucking boring you there?
Nah, sorry, man. It's been a big day.
BJ's fucking yawning.
Fuck. Anyway. Oh, I can get up at fucking 6:30 like some of us.
Yeah. Rusty will get some of these rakes and he'll just cut all the prongs off and leave like 6. And I'll be like, what the...
Specialty rakes.
I'll be like, what the fuck is this? And he's like, oh man, this is for your little hard to reach areas, you know, get behind the little nooks and crannies. I'm like, all right, what's that one there for? And he's like, oh, this is for areas that are slightly bigger.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
He's fucking got all of his jigs.
He's going to get one of your bloody Equipment Defender racks just for rakes, different sized rakes.
He designed a rake.
What?
I fucking probably still got the drawing. He designed a rake that was like a hand. So like you rake everything. Now I know people are listening and they can't see, but I'm doing the raking motion, right? So you rake it, and then when you get your pile, you're sweeping it and you pull a little cord and it grabs it all.
Yeah.
Like a fucking litter.
Basically like how one of those mops would squeeze out.
A little bit, yeah. It's like that, and one of those little litter grabbers where you can just grab your shit.
The claw.
So, but I think it wasn't a cable. It was like you pulled the pole, like a foreskin or something. And,
nice.
Yeah, so...
I'd have it worn out.
All of those things would be pretty cool. It'd be interesting to know if anyone uses those...
the big bear claws.
The big hand grabbers.
Yeah, I think there was a post about them on LMCA a few months ago.
They do work. The only thing is that you have to have all your piles sussed first.
Yeah.
Like you can't rake an area, pick up the bulk, rake an area, pick up the bulk. You kind of need to rake.
That's hard too. When you're taking it off the lawn is completely different to taking it off the road. Because a lot of the stuff, because we're in villages, we take it off the road. And whatever we can't get off the road, we'll blow into a patch and just mow it up.
Yeah. Did you want to quickly just talk about like hedges in fucked up areas, like say pools?
Oh yeah,
do you ever mess with them? I mean, your business is different now.
Yeah, I used to. I did go in a pool once. Well, my hedger went in and I went in after it. So that was right around the edge of a pool. That was a fucking dog. It was 8 degrees that morning and I got so sick.
Oh, true. 8 degrees.
Yeah, it fucked me up. Hedger worked fine. Shindaiwa 230 fucking kicked on.
That's pretty good considering you went for a swim.
Yeah.
So I saw something really cool the other day. A bloke just set up his ladder underwater.
Yeah,
did
that's
you see
pretty
that?
cool. No, I didn't.
Yeah, it's classic. I loved it.
It'd be alright for a concrete pool, but I don't know about those fucking liners, how the liners would hold up.
It was a fancy pool, but I couldn't see any other way that you could get it done.
Yeah, it just is so dumb.
Yeah, I really hate it.
I think it looks amazing. It looks beautiful when it's done, but fucking hell. Some of the growth we have lately, you'd have to be diving in that pool every bloody, 2 weeks sometimes to keep it nice and pretty.
Yeah, I haven't had any regular clients where they've had that sort of setup.
Yeah.
Where it's just straight on a pool edge. Obviously, we've talked about the maze that you and me used to do on the cliff where you got fucking bee stung, fucked, and somehow got horny from it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I know Russell the other day at the village when you gave him the hand hedge up, he was kind of there was just cube hedges all around him, and he kind of just ended up doing like a stick figure and just not moving his arms at all, just moving his body and trimming areas. And, some of that stuff's pretty funny.
Nah, it's good fun. I really enjoy it. It is one of the most satisfying parts of the job, I think. The clean up shit, but I think hedging is definitely one of the goods.
With quoting and pricing, I definitely think, because now there's lots of businesses offering hedge trimming, but I do think that the businesses that are offering mowing and hedging, I think you can keep your prices up pretty well. They need that service.
It's good to offer a package too, the whole package.
Oh, I've always said that. I think anytime someone gets a mower man and then has to get a gardening service separate, I think, and I also wouldn't like someone else taking care of my shit,
one person on site's enough.
Yeah, so but say for one-off hedging, I also think you can probably keep those prices pretty up. I'm not really sure. I would still use the same hourly rate that I would use for other services.
Yeah.
How about you? Do you change that hourly rate?
For reduction, I go a little bit higher.
Reductions are different because there's just more variables.
You never you never understand how much is up there until it's on the ground.
Oh man, and then you have to load it into the trailer and you have to unload it at the tip. So I definitely think you're right, and I think it's good advice for people out there that are just starting to get into hedge reductions. Your prices really have to be a fair bit more. Yeah.
If you give an hour, say this is my hourly rate, and then it'll be plus dumping. You can also tack on a little bit of dollars on that. Don't forget to charge your drive to the tip, especially if you're filling up. But I think that is for me anyway, that would be the easiest way, and that's how I started
off. If a job was going to take you 3 hours, I'd probably use, I'd be more inclined, if I was a little bit unsure, I'd be inclined to use a half day rate, because as a minimum charge. And the reason why I say that is because realistically, by the time you do 3 hours of work and then you have smoko or whatever the case is, you've only got literally half a day left.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you can almost even justify that by saying 2.5. I know there's 8 hours in a working day, but you know what I mean? If something does take you 5 hours, then there's only, by the time you have a break, and if you are going to the tip in the afternoon, there's only really a couple of, normal working hours left.
Yeah.
You've got to keep your prices up to justify that shit.
That's it.
Is there anything else that you wanted to add?
No, we might talk about maintenance stuff. Well, I think we've already covered most of that. And just keep your fucking blades clean and sharp.
Actually, let's quickly talk about it. We know you're Mr. Dremel over here.
The Dremel, even though I don't own a Dremel. I've got the rip-off Ryobi.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a
it's a rotary tool.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, when I say Dremel, it's kind of like a Kleenex, right?
Yeah.
A Kleenex, that's just, or like a Hoover.
Yeah.
It's just a vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, that's it.
But that name is known for, so everything is a fucking Dremel.
Yeah, so that's my preferred method. Is that your preferred method of sharpening?
Yeah, I would use that I know Rusty is still old school. He would still file it.
Yeah.
Or use a Dremel. I've used grinders before. I just find it like we do have a maintenance episode which you can go back in the archives and have a look at.
Yeah.
I said it back then. I still sort of feel the same way. I just think it's a little bit unforgiving.
Yeah.
I think if you're religiously using a grinder, you're just taking off too much meat.
Yeah.
And once you get that separation in between the blades, I think that's when you've done it. You can't put that back on.
Game over, man.
You're only really wanting to maintain the edge.
Just take the burrs off.
And to get the muck off, like the sap and shit.
Yeah. Invest in good cleaner and just, maintain those blades.
Now, if you're doing, say, 1 to 2 hours of hedging a day, what sort of grease in the gearbox? Not type of grease, but how many pumps are you giving that?
Oh, it depends now. Some of the battery units don't even take grease.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
There's no fucking grease point on a Husqvarna.
Oh, wow. We should look into that.
Yeah. I don't think there's any grease points on a Husqvarna.
Yeah, okay.
Fucking right in.
Oh, wait a second. Is that because... Is the motor in the top end?
Yeah.
Okay. I feel a little bit amateur here, but I'm a little bit lost. It'd be good to...
I was talking to Footprints and he said there is a back door and you can put a little bit of grease in it, but
is it not necessary?
I don't think it's necessary
because it's not really a gearbox; it's a motor, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, I'd love to find that out.
Yeah. Right in, leave a review with the information.
But look, otherwise, if you are using something with a nipple on it, you say giving it 3 or 4 pumps a day. Or...
Yeah, don't overdo it.
Now. Don't overdo it.
Yeah,
because if you pop that fucking seal,
bye.
It's just like it's never the same.
Nah.
Even if you reinstall that motherfucker back and you think it's all sweet, you'll always get little grease bukakis.
Yeah. Like when I busted me banjo.
But yeah, like it just because I've been a huge culprit before where. You're like, hell yeah, let's get some grease. And you say to yourself, I'm going to do 7 pumps.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, you're like, fuck yeah, 8, 9, 10.
And that's where I learned from his mistakes.
So definitely be careful of that. Are you spraying lube before or after hedges?
It depends on how I feel. If I need a little bit of lube there, I'll spray a bit of lube. But you can normally tell. If I've forgotten to clean the machine the day before, then I will lube her up. But normally I'll use I use Lanox now because I found out that WD-40 they actually use a petroleum product in their fucking garden sprays. So I've stopped using that. I use Lanox, which is like Inox's lanolin spray. It smells like horses, I think. I don't know why the fuck it smells like horses. It does. But I use that. Works really well, lasts for a long time, and it doesn't gum up my blades or anything like that. So
because I think the typical rule is really you should be giving a spray afterward.
Yeah, so
to prevent all the sap and all the muck.
And it's a rust inhibitor as well.
Yeah, but I have been typically one of those people that likes to do it before and after.
Yeah.
I have never really sort of been in on the theory that any of the products are going to affect the hedges.
No, I think like if
I
you
don't
were
think
using
I've ever experienced it.
No, I think if you use the wrong thing, like if you're cleaning your fucking blades with methyl and then throwing it straight across the hedge, it's not going to be too happy. But I've never really experienced it.
I used like a real harsh acid on some of my hedge trimmer blades a long time ago, and I mean they came up like fucking samurai swords.
Yeah,
man. Like it was wicked, but it like ate into the steel, and it was like. Every time you revved it, it was like someone was screaming. And like it just seemed like they were kind of seized but not seized, and it was just like squeaky and shit, and I fucked up. I used the wrong thing.
I feel hedge trimmers are a lot like whippersnippers, as
I thought you were gonna say like women.
No, you can when you hear that perfect chord length. It's the same with hedge trimmers. You'll know as soon as you sharpen your blades and they're nice and lubed up, they won't chatter like a fucking crazy person.
How fucking sweet is it when you get a new hedger, eh?
Oh, it's so like nice. Yeah, and then
and then it lasts for like fucking 2 hours. Yeah. And then you have to spend like the next 300 hours listening to this noisy motherfucker.
It was like, fuck, this is a rattlesnake.
I can't stand the chatter. And that's what I love a lot about battery equipment, like battery hedge trimmers, because you can really hear the blades rather than the engine.
Yep.
And it's much easier to gauge when your blades are in bad shape.
Let's not pretend that they're silent, but it is a lot nicer.
Oh, totally. Like if you're a petrol guy or girl, being politically correct, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're a petrol user and you're looking to get into, battery hedge trimmers, you can still fucking hear them.
Yeah.
They're still loud.
But with headphones on and shit like that, you can almost have a conversation, whereas there's no chance if you got a petrol one going.
Yeah, it used to be one of those things like at my sites when I'd rock up if I wasn't with the boys, or even if I was with the boys and I was just looking for them, I'd just, put a little ear out and be like, oh yeah, there's Rusty, there's DJ, rah, rah. Now I have to walk more than halfway to them to find out, like if they're using a bip, you almost see them before you hear them.
Yeah.
With the hedger, you can still kind of figure out roughly where they're at. There's so many advantages. When you're talking about vibrations and all sorts of shit.
That's a different episode. That's our battery episode from back in the day. We might have to do a new one as a few new products coming out.
Because it's one of those things where technology's moving forward. There's
very
new brands
fast
coming to the forefront.
Yeah.
We need something to talk about.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, well, we might get ready to wrap this one up.
Yeah, buddy, it's dinner time.
So, thanks everyone for joining us today. It was a little bit of a roundabout topic. We did want to talk about hedge trimming and some of our experiences that we've had. We could certainly talk more about it.
Yeah, let us know.
Definitely let us know. This is a topic suggestion that was just messaged to me today. So if you have topic suggestions out there, send them through to us.
Yep.
We love the interaction.
Open ears. Robert Shearer gave me some good ones today. So he had a good one that he threw at us. So we'll try and work that one out. It's a little bit technical. Might need 1 or 2 notes. So wait until it gets colder for that.
Yeah, you might have to wait till like the middle of winter. All right, everyone. I am at Catch Pro Australia. He is at TBL Property Maintenance. We are out of time.
Peace.